Hello. Here at Johns Hopkins Carey Business School, we believe that being able to provide positive and negative feedback in the workplace is essential to effective workplace interactions. We are Group 5, Section 32 of the Business Communications course, and we have some evidence-based tools and tips to help you deliver feedback effectively at work. Here is Maya to get us started.
So, as managers, you may wonder, what is feedback? Feedback is a pattern of systems, your input and your output into a system that influences the behavior. Based on a research from an article entitled Navigating Discourses of Feedback, Patoka and other authors reference feedback as performance related information. It can be used to develop new forms or systems that relate to the emerging needs of your office or workplace. Feedback is most commonly used in personal, professional, and academic settings where you may receive an influx of positive and negative feedback. So, some things as managers we may think about are what are the challenges that come into place when we are delivering feedback? You may hear a lot about ambiguity. Ambiguity refers to there is no place or no reference point to in delivering positive and negative feedback. Sometimes your feedback is over or undersimplified. We may overuse positive and underuse negative or vice versa. It's very important to deliver a balance of the two types of feedback. And then also, you may run into insufficient channels of communication, meaning your employee doesn't know where to reference the feedback that you've given them, both positive and negative, which in tandem may delay the implementation of them with the feedback that you give them.
Feedback fuels growth. Think about it. Without feedback, people don't know if they're on the right path or headed in the wrong direction. They can't double down on what's working and they can't correct what's holding them back. And yet, giving feedback isn't easy. How many of you have felt uncomfortable giving feedback? I know I have. We
Mhm.
worry about our tone, about hurting people's feelings, or about whether our feedback will even make a difference. That hesitation is normal, but it comes at a cost. When we avoid feedback, our teams lose opportunities to improve and succeed. For managers, feedback is one of the most powerful tools that we have. It helps us set expectations, guide performance, and build trust. But the key is to be intentional. Before you speak, ask yourself, what is the point I want to make? What do I want them to continue? And what do I want them to change? That's where the SBI model comes in. It gives us a structure to make feedback clear, concise, and effective. The SBI model was developed by the Center for Creative Leadership, one of the
Mhm.
world's top leadership development institutions. Their research shows that using SBI reduces anxiety for the person giving feedback and helps the recipient feel less defensive. In fact, it's been adopted by many organizations as a standard approach to leadership coaching. SBI stands for Situation, Behavior, and Impact. Situation, this is where you set the context. Name the time and place so the feedback feels grounded. Without it, feedback can feel vague or disconnected. Behavior, describe the action you observe. This keeps us focused on what happened, not on personal traits or assumptions. It's about facts, not judgment. And finally, the I is for impact. Explain why it matters. This connects the dots between what they did and the effect it had on you, your team, or business outcomes. And here's where I want to challenge you as leaders. Don't shy away from giving feedback. Be intentional, think about your point before you speak, and use SBII to organize your thoughts and keep your message clear and concise. When you do, you not only help your team understand what to change or continue, but you also build trust because they see your feedback has purpose. At the end of the day, keep in mind that your feedback does matter. It has the power to guide performance, to inspire growth, and to create stronger, more successful teams. Now let's take a look at a case study example where SBI model was put into place.
So our first case, we're going to be providing positive feedback. We're going to be talking to a new provider about how they are interacting with their patients. We'll be using the SBI technique. So first of all, you want to describe the situation. During your consultation with the patient in room 10 this morning, you created a supportive and attentive environment. Then you want to describe the behavior. You explain the diagnosis in simple, clear language and ask thoughtful follow-up questions to make sure that the patient really understood. Finally, impact. As a result, the patient felt reassured and confident in the care plan, which really strengthened their trust in you as their provider. It's important that while giving positive feedback that you give good body language, warmth and enthusiasm, giving a steady gaze, remain calm, and just relax your shoulders and always give a smile. Next, let's hear about another technique.
The next technique we'll be covering is called the FAST model. Fast feedback is a quick and concise model and provides a timely response in situations where you and your team are going to need it the most. FAST is an acronym. The F in FAST stands for frequency. Ensure that the frequency of conversations with your team fosters a reliable and open communication style. The A in FAST stands for accurate. Make statements that are factual, logical, and on topic when you are providing feedback to your team. The S in FAST stands for specific. You're going to want to use details with your team that are easily recognizable and applicable for the situation at hand. And finally, the T in FAST stands for timely. Respond quickly. A timely response allows and creates clarity, eliminating confusion, and especially clarifying what circumstances the feedback is being applied to.
Now, in our second case, we'll be providing negative feedback. So in this situation, it's an employee meeting with the manager regarding lateness. And we're going to be using the FAST technique. So frequent, for example, you would say, I would like to check in when lateness happens so that we can address it early and keep the team moving smoothly. Going forward, let's meet weekly regarding time and attendance. Then accurate. Over the past 2 weeks, you've been late 3 times, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each between 10 and 20 minutes. Be specific. On Wednesday, for example, your late arrival meant that the huddle started without you and the front desk had to adjust check-ins and patients were roomed late. And finally, be timely. I want to bring this up now while it's fresh. Let's talk about what might help you getting here on time going forward. Now, while providing negative feedback, your body language should be warm. You should keep a calm routine the whole time. And also remember what Myers said. Not only should you gauge your body language, but you also want to gauge the body language of the employee you're discussing the situation with. It'll make everyone feel comfortable. So now let's talk about tone.
So, as managers, we may run into some counter arguments or what ifs. First, your tone and delivery matter. You have to understand your body language and making sure that your tone and delivery fit whichever feedback model you are using. Balance the good and the bad. Don't oversaturate on positive feedback or don't oversaturate on negative feedback. Coupling the two will make sure that your employee has a full and well-rounded approach of their performance at work. And lastly, be creative. We really encourage leaders to use creative strategies and techniques that best fit your workplace to deliver both positive and negative feedback.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. It's time for a little bit of self-evaluation. Here are a few questions that you can ask yourself that are low pressure and also very effective. First of all, does my body language match up with the message that I'm sharing? Am I listening to understand after providing feedback? And also, which feedback model is the most appropriate for my current situation? Thank you so much for joining us today and for taking the time to go over these items on providing positive and negative feedback in the workplace. We hope you find them helpful towards building up your team into the best that it can be.